Welcome to the Creative and Code podcast.
Welcome to the internet, my friend.
Brought to you by ID Digital Agency.
Kind of a big deal.
Dive into the dynamic world of digital marketing, creative design, and coding with top experts, latest trends, and actionable insights. Let's get inspired and innovate together.
It's showtime.
Welcome to another episode of Creative and Code. All right, let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I was sitting in my office, coffee in one hand, a 40-page request for proposal document in the other. It was from a big-name client. The kind that makes you sit up a little straighter when the email lands in your inbox. You know this type. This could change everything kind of client. And at first glance, this project was perfect for us. Right in our wheelhouse. Exciting, challenging. A portfolio piece that could open doors. Then I started reading. Buried somewhere between compliance requirements and submit a triplicate via carrier pigeon was a single terrifying line. Detailed strategic plan and full creative concept required as part of submission. So let me translate. Hey, spend weeks of your time coming up with an amazing idea, mapping out every detail, doing deep strategic thinking, designing mock-ups, and if we don't pick you, well, thanks for the free ideas. We'll just use them ourselves or give them to the cheapest bidder. Appreciate ya. I should have walked away, but I didn't. Because like so many agencies, I thought, this is just how it works. So we pulled late nights, we went all in, we created something incredible. And then crickets. Weeks passed, nothing. Eventually, we found through the grapevine that the project had gone to an internal team. They'd never actually planned to hire an agency. We were just their free consultants for them to explore ideas. And that was the moment I realised that this entire proposal system is broken. And that's what we're unpacking today. Why the tender and proposal process is fundamentally flawed. Why it doesn't actually help businesses find the best agency. And how we can fix it. Because let's be honest, no one enjoys this process. And yet here we are, still doing it the same way it has been done for decades. So let's call it what it is. Writing proposals is basically gambling with time. You're betting hours, days, sometimes weeks on the chance of winning work. If a single proposal takes 40 hours to complete, which is conservative, and you submit 10 proposals a year, that's 400 hours or 10 entire weeks spent just writing pitch documents. That's 2.5 months of unpaid work. Let that sink in. 80% of RFPs are written with a preferred vendor already in mind, as per the Harvard Business Review. 60% of agencies say the time spent on proposals significantly impacts their ability to focus on existing clients. That's from Agency Growth Report. And from Forbes, only 18% of agencies report a good experience with tender portals. So let's be clear. Most agencies aren't actually competing on a level playing field. Many times, the RFP process is just a formality, an exercise in box ticking to satisfy procurement policies. Meanwhile, we're sinking thousands of dollars in man-hours into proposals that were never truly up for grabs. Imagine this. You walk into a coffee shop, you order a latte. The barista makes the perfect cup, hands it over, and you take a sip. Then you say, nah, I don't think I'll pay for this one, but thanks for making it. Maybe I'll come back and buy one in the future. Ridiculous, right? But this is exactly what happens in the proposal process. Except instead of a latte, it's a full strategic plan, a creative vision, and hours of deep work that businesses expect for free. Tenders often weigh price more than value. And listen, I get it. Budgets are real. But choosing an agency purely on the lowest bid is like choosing a heart surgeon based on who charges the least. Yeah, I mean, I could go to the other guy as a proven track record and a solid plan, but this one's 20% cheaper, so let's roll the dice. If you've ever tried submitting a proposal through a tender portal, you know it's like trying to pass through airport security while juggling 3 laptops and a pack of wild raccoons. They ask for the same information over and over again. Upload limits are absurd. Why we're still compressing PDFs in 2025, I don't know. And half the time, the system crashes right before you hit submit. Businesses, If you take nothing else out of this episode, take this. If an agency has poured days into your tender, you owe them a response. You don't have to pick them, but for the love of decency, at least send them a thanks that we went with another direction email. 80% of agencies never get a rejection notice. It's like dating, except instead of ghosting after one awkward dinner, it's after weeks of effort. All right, I've dragged the system enough. Let's talk about solutions because, let's be real, agencies should have to prove that they're right fit, but it doesn't have to be this painful. If you're serious about getting good work, businesses should compensate shortlisted agencies for their time. Even a modest stipend shows respect for expertise. This already happens in architecture, engineering, and high-end design, so why not digital? All right, maybe a business really can't pay for proposals, fine. But how about this? A simple 5-star Google review for agencies that make it to the final round. Something like, while we didn't move forward with them, their expertise and process were exceptional. That small gesture helps agencies build credibility and SEO ranking. Cost to the business, 0. Impact, huge. Stop asking agencies to submit full creative strategies before they've even won the job. Instead, request a concise proposal. Then pay for a deeper discovery session before locking in your partner. This way, agencies aren't burning time on speculative work, and businesses get better, more meaningful, thoughtful responses. So if you're a business, respect the time agencies invest, compensate or at least communicate. If you're an agency, qualify tenders before wasting time on a dead-end bid. Tenders should be about compatibility, not just cost. There's no perfect proposal, there's only the right agency fit. As Steve Jobs once said, it doesn't make sense to hire smart people, then tell them what to do. It also doesn't make sense to ask brilliant agencies to do weeks of free work before even considering them for the job. Check out our work at ID Digital Agency, or explore the Creative and Code podcast further. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Creative and Code podcast.
That's all, folks.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it as inspiring and entertaining as we did. Remember, there are plenty more episodes to explore, so make sure you keep listening for more creative insights and coding tips. A big shout out to our amazing sponsors and the team at ID Digital Agency for making this podcast possible. Got a story to share or want to be a guest on our show? We'd love to hear from you. Send us a 2-minute or less audio clip to creativeandcode@iddigital.com.au. Suggestions, ideas, or just want to say hi, we're all ears. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, stay creative and keep coding.